This time, I'll be featuring a foreign country for the first time. I've come to Pisa's sugar. Of course, that's just a joke. What I'll actually be featuring in this video is Awaji, located on Awaji Island. It's called World Park Onokoro, an amusement park. There's an area called Miniature World, where famous buildings from around the world are recreated in miniature size. Recently, development has made Awaji Island a top tourist spot in Kansai. It's the only amusement park on the island. However, the amusement park is empty and desolate, with 0 wait times for attractions being the norm. Even though there are no people, only the background music is playing. This time I visited Awaji World Park Onokoro. I'll share my impressions as well as introduce its past, present, and future. Onomatsu's Anywhere Exploration team will continue to make lots of videos for everyone to enjoy, so please be sure to subscribe to the channel. So here I am on Awaji Island. Now, the Awaji World Park that I'll be featuring in this video, this is where Onokoro is located. It's on reclaimed land in southeast Awaji City, Hyogo Prefecture. It's about a 30-minute drive from the Akashi Keikyo Bridge. When it comes to Onokoro, many people living in the Kansai area have probably seen this commercial.
It's located on the east side of Awaji City, around here on Awaji Island. Near here on Awaji Island is Awaji World Park, which features famous buildings from around the world. When I was little, I used to look at these and play.
It's near here on Awaji Island. The frescoes are striking. I remember this commercial used to air a lot back then. Previously, I covered the Aeon Awaji store and Carillon Plaza, which are full of Akina Nanto, and this place is very close to them. Since the late 2010s, a company called Persona has been actively developing Awaji Island as a resort island, and many new facilities have opened. Onokoro, however, opened in 1985, so it has been around for quite a long time. This is the entrance to the amusement park. This entrance features Mediterranean style, that's right. And the ones welcoming you in front of the entrance tower are the characters Ono and Onogoro. It's hard to tell if you meant that as a compliment or insult, but I actually prefer this kind of thing over USJ or Disney. I like these second-rate amusement parks more, so I'm pretty excited. Admission is 1,600 yen per adult. If you want to go on the attractions, you need to either buy separate ride tickets or get an unlimited ride pass for 3,000 yen. I think you can enjoy yourself without the unlimited ride pass, so it's not really necessary. Now that I've bought my ticket, I'll go inside. This is exactly what I mean. I love this B-grade vibe. The random music and lack of unity create chaos, which is exactly what makes it great. First, you notice this statue of Izanaki no Mikoto and Izanami no Mikoto. In Japanese creation mythology, these gods were the first to create the land. It is said that the island, Onokoro Island, is located somewhere in Awaji. It seems that's where the amusement park got its name from. Behind it, there are all sorts of objects, like things you wonder where they even found them. There are plenty of sculptures. A dinosaur's roaring. Now, this amusement park is open just a third of the time. About a third of the area is for attractions, while the rest is mainly for sightseeing and enjoying the view. For now, I'll introduce the amusement park area. Attractions are placed randomly on the asphalt, giving it a rather bleak atmosphere. There are hardly any people here. But I visited on a weekday. As you can see, most of the playground equipment is gentle and designed for families, so there are naturally fewer people on weekdays. With so few people in the park, you remember the face of anyone you pass? Since you quickly become familiar with people's faces, it feels like you've made more friends. This is a ship called Shinyoku Maru. It seems to be a replica of the ship that the lucky man from Awaji Island, Kabei Takadaya, used to sail on. It's hard to tell the size from the video, but in reality, it's pretty huge. Next, I'll introduce the fairy tale forest in the park's center. Objects here introduce fairy tales. I visited this amusement park more than 5 times, and the area that stands out the most in my memory is this one. Visiting again as an adult after many years, the fairy tale forest reminded me of childhood visits with my parents. The back of the fairy tale forest is a miniature world. It's a place with miniature versions of famous buildings from around the world, and it's impressive to see. This is the Pisa Sugar. This is the place I mentioned at the start. I'm cute, so I'm also a bit short, but still, it's pretty tall. Now, the Taj Mahal miniature. It's even more interesting and surreal when you take a picture of the Ferris wheel together with the miniature famous buildings. The top of Mount Bani is also recreated. I'm very impressed by the quality. And there's also an artificial waterfall called the Waterfall Plaza. You can really feel that they spent quite a bit of money on this place when it was first built. It opened in 1985 before the bubble era, but it did open during a time when Japan was booming. Now then, I've given you a brief overview of the park. There was no wait for any rides. It almost felt like there were more staff than visitors. I think they're operating at a loss just by staying open. First, let me introduce how Awaji World Park Onokoro has come to where it is today. In 1985, the Awaji Island Expo was held to celebrate the opening of the Great Naruto Strait between Tokushima and Awaji Island and the nation's birth. Part of the venue featured the theme of exchange with the world. Onokoro Island opened at that time. Later, in April 1998, the Akashi Kaikyo Bridge connecting Honshu and Awaji Island was open. Hyogo Prefecture budgeted over 500 million yen for the opening commemoration project. In 1998, they put a lot of effort into it, planning as many as 51 events. In addition, there's the Nojima Fault Preservation Museum, which preserves the fault created by the Great Hanshin Awaji earthquake, and a building designed by the famous architect Tadao Ando. The opening of Awaji Yumebutai and other projects quickly advanced the area. The island was also active at this time. In 1997, the park closed for a year for renovations, and in March 1998, just before the Akashi Kaikyo Bridge opened, it underwent a complete renewal, adding amusement park features like a Ferris wheel and roller coaster. It was developed as a tourist spot on Awaji Island, where a surge in visitors was expected after the bridge opened. After renovations, more amusement park features were added, turning it into Awaji World Park. It was decided to reopen under the new name Onokoro. At the time, the area was 12 hectares, about the size of 25 Tokyo domes, a spacious amusement park. For the opening of Onokoro, the operations were managed by Hyogo Prefecture and Onokoro. Awaji City, Tsunami Town, major companies and banks invested in it. A third sector company, Onokoro Island, was established. In its first year, they expected 700,000 visitors, then 600,000 annually. Initially, a lodging facility called Awaji World Village was included. It was planned that way. It's no longer in use, and solar panels are now installed everywhere. But wasn't the Akashi Kaikyo Bridge viaduct amazing? Well, it connects Honshu and Awaji Island, and when it first opened, it was the largest suspension bridge in the world. So it's only natural that it got so much attention and the prefecture put so much effort into it. But when it opened, I was only 2 years old, so I don't remember it. I was too busy drinking milk. Awaji Island, which gained nationwide attention, was more successful than expected. This time was no exception, with the first-year visitor estimate increased from 700,000 to 850,000. It was so lively, they had to update the information. However, that luck didn't last long. Soon, tourist numbers on Awaji Island dropped. Few attractions drew attention after crossing the Akashi Kaikyo Bridge, so repeat visitors were rare. The Japanese economy was declining, and in 2001, Universal Studios Japan opened in Osaka and took nearly all the customers. Amid this, Onokoro kept losing money, so they stopped running it as a third sector business and handed it over to the private sector. Farm, a company from Ehime Prefecture, stepped forward. The prefecture decided to lend the land and buildings of Onokoro to the private sector, free of charge for a period of 5 years. From 2008 to 2012, the facility operated for 5 years, but they couldn't successfully rebuild it. By 2012, at the end of the farm era, the number of visitors had dropped to 250,000, less than 1/3 of the number in the first year. So, when the 5-year contract ended, the prefecture announced that they would rent it out for a fee instead of for free this time. Though renting for a fee seemed likely to complicate negotiations, they actually went smoothly. In the competition, the Sudawaji Dokan Group was selected, and a new operating company, Onokoro Corporation, was established. The contract runs for 15 years, ending in October 2027. Hyogo Prefecture will also be able to earn rental income, so it's good that they found someone willing to rent it for a fee. In 2012, the annual number of visitors dropped to 250,000 on Onokoro. Recently, tourist numbers on Awaji Island have risen, returning to about 300,000. However, visitor numbers remain at half the anticipated 600,000. One of the reasons for this situation is the location. It can't be called a good location, and it's also far from the areas that have been actively developed in recent years. Pasona is actively developing the west coast on the north side of Awaji City, so Onokoro, which is on the south side and east coast, is in the exact opposite location. It takes about 30 minutes from the Akashi Kaikyo Bridge, and even if you cross the Onaruto Bridge from Shikoku, it takes about 50 minutes plus, since it's a bit far from other tourist spots as well. It's not really a place that comes up as a candidate for tourists visiting from outside the island. There are no tourist spots here because during the bubble era, all the reclaimed land was developed for industry. Although it was planned, it seems that the impact of it being canceled also played a role. Now it's Onokoro, with early roller coasters and thrill rides. There are no attractions at all, and it feels like they're targeting families exclusively. Awaji Island has a lot of stylish facilities, thanks to Persona's development, but Onokoro is not stylish at all, to be honest. And trying to renovate it to make it stylish would cost a lot, so I think it's fine as it is. The view is great, with spots overlooking all of Osaka Bay. Nearby is a former helicopter sightseeing reception area. There's a heliport suggesting sightseeing flights were once available. For those wondering, you went to an amusement park but are just walking around. Haven't you been on any rides? Don't worry, I did ride one. Or rather, I went inside. It was so hot that day I was sweating just from walking, but I experienced a world of minus 20 degrees in the Yuki-onna attraction. Suddenly my sweat dried and I felt happy. In the end, you can hold Yuki-onna's baby Yukinko. They even thank you, and you get to walk with them. Thank you very much. It was pretty heavy, but they gave me super strength. Awaji World Park Onokoro, which has been open for 40 years. It's regularly renovated, so it doesn't feel old, but I'm curious about what will happen after the contract with the current company ends in October 2027. I really hope they'll extend it. As the only amusement park on Awaji Island, I trust the prefecture will keep it open. But if it closes, it'll be too late, so when you feel like going, you should go while you still can. Once again in this video, I introduced Awaji World Park. I had fun cleaning. I didn't ride it this time, but personally, I recommend the World Cruise attraction. You can ride a gondola floating on the water and enjoy an elegant world tour. It was an amusement park that made me want to visit about once a year from now on. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving it a like. See you in the next video.